Well, Manchester United have made big changes this summer. Let's head there now and join our reporter Daniel Kahn.
Martinez, because he's got all sorts of personality, and that's what United have needed, really.
Did it surprise you, Jonathan? I mean, Martinez might have seen a very good fit there, somebody that could marshal the back.
Yeah, and obviously he's a personality. I think if you're looking at the modern United and the regime, looking at in terms of resale value, looking in terms of younger players who essentially you can move on if they don't work out. And the one thing we know about United is that it's probably not going to work out. I'm not going to pretend that I've seen like 90 minutes of every game he's played. But they say he's like decent command of his area. He's good range of passing, and the track record of goalkeepers coming from the Belgian Pro League to the Premier League it's actually not bad. You think of Courtois and Mignolet, but also Matt Sells and Bart Verbruggen at Brighton. So what we don't know, obviously, is, like Miguel says, how he will handle the pressure, the scrutiny. Every single mistake will be scrutinised in minute detail, and also like the chaos of the Premier League penalty area. The goal mouth is refereed much differently in the Premier League to how it is in a lot of other countries, and it's that adaptation which I think is a big tell for how a keeper's going to fare.
Yeah, and is it also a bit of a story, the fact that they potentially, Manchester United, and I don't know for sure, but you'd think that they might have been in for the likes of Donnarumma, and perhaps Manchester United are not the pulling power they perhaps once were?
No, it's been an interesting summer, hasn't it? Because on the one hand, they were still able to attract Šeško ahead of other big clubs, and Bruno turned down Spurs to go to Old Trafford, and so that those sort of things played into it. Cunha, I'm sure, could have had his pick of other clubs, but indeed, set it out very early on. I want Old Trafford, and so basically, I do still think United have a pulling power. I do think part of the issue there for Donnarumma is I do think he wanted a big payday. I think he's probably got that, a bigger payday at City, and City obviously offer him Champions League football, which he's obviously become very accustomed to and very successful at. Yeah. So you've got those that I do think that I think opposing teams will now feast upon a young goalkeeping signing and say, okay, let's see what you're about, because basically it's almost become such a problem position, and this is a massive test for a newcomer. And I do think when you talk about personalities, I think Martinez would have been up for the challenge and would have loved that and would have been good at it. And I think now they are taking a bit of another gamble on a sort of somewhat unproven younger goalkeeper. They've got a few of those on the books already. I mean, Altai's had a couple of really bad games, and they're stacking up these goalkeepers that are not working. And here's another one that's kind of, straight into the line of fire.
It is interesting where they are. So basically, for the two most isolated positions on the pitch, where either you can save your team or potentially make big errors, or offer match winners or miss big chances. They've got two players that have to adapt to the Premier League. One, the new goalkeeper, and Šeško, obviously. And look, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be bad in the long run, but it's for a team that are where they are, which is where they start to need assurance. There's like an element of uncertainty about both.
It's interesting. I just want to, because I've got all three of you here from the media and myself as well, included in that. But the fact that they say that they do Manchester United come under more scrutiny than any other team. Mboma was talking about it at the weekend. Harry Maguire's spoken about that. Is that something you'd agree with?
Oh, absolutely. And also, I mean, like, this is always the case historically, going back to when Matt Busby made them a great kind of international club. But now, I mean, we're in an era, obviously, where it's gone to a whole other dimension, given, like, we're talking about, 12 super clubs. They're massively popular around the globe, despite the last decade. And like, the whole kind of social media brings a total other element to it. And yeah, that does increase the scrutiny, especially because, I mean, players, before, they could probably shut out this stuff easier. But now, just to go online, they can see all sorts of noise about themselves.
Yeah.
100% it does. I mean, they wouldn't have it any other way, by the way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they are the self-proclaimed biggest club in the world. I mean, basically, that's how they want to be perceived. The spotlight is on them. I mean, I was fascinated by that game against Burnley on Saturday. What would happen? And basically, we all watched, didn't we, sort of kind of in a ghoulish fashion about what would happen at Grimsby. You're watching that game and thinking, oh, couldn't possibly, could they? And it's just amazing, this kind of Man United soap opera. But make no mistake about it, when they're good, they're absolutely brilliant. I mean, they're dominated for 20 years under Fergie, and we're untouchable. So, that's the standard that they set themselves, and at the moment they're miles off it, and that's that's the problem that United have. But yeah, they are absolutely under the media spotlight, and they do get more attention, and they kind of